Hello everyone, it's Christy from Christy's Beautiful Life, finally here for a lift and sketch. This is the beautiful layout that we are scrap lifting today. I am of course crazy late. I need to give Rachel major prompts for being patient with me as I adjusted back to work, and of course I was doing 30 days of sketches in January and I didn't get any of the lift or the sketch done. So I'm back. I'm a little late. This was due this weekend and it didn't get done, but hopefully everything is okay now and I will be back on schedule right along with the normal posting with Rachel. So today I am going to use some photos I took back in August of last year when the solar eclipse happened. So it wasn't a complete solar eclipse. I lived too far up north. But we had like 80% or 90 something, 88% or something like that. And so it still did something pretty cool. And it made really fun shadows on our sidewalks and like these fun little like moon shapes, which was really neat. And I went out that day, went for a nice long walk with Nora. Jackson was at school. And it was so much fun. I literally just walked around the neighborhood waiting for it to be that time and seeing who was out and waiting for it. And there's a lot of people that were off that day. It was the middle of the work week, if I remember correctly. But there was a lot of people actually out with the glasses and everything. I didn't have the glasses, so I did the whole hold your phone up, kind of look at it thing. And I think in my case, especially where I was located, I would have had a better view of it and stuff if I had looked on the ground and watched the shadows, because that's what I saw on Instagram were all the fun shadows. But it was so much fun, and it got cool for a moment, and it got really, really silent. It was cool. It was a really neat experience. So I loved that I got to be a part of that. If I hadn't been on my mat leave, I would have been working at that time. So it was really special and a neat memory I wanted to be able to document. And I am using that pattern paper, that green one that you see there. It is from Wild Whispers, and it is the last piece of pattern paper I had from my October Secret Not Secret kit. I have been hoarding it, waiting to use it for this layout, and it's one of those things where I put everything together that had to do with stars and moons and anything like that. I put it all together to use, put it somewhere safe. I'm doing air quotes, which of course you can't see, and then I misplaced that safe place. So this layout should have been done months ago, but I misplaced it. So it's getting done now though, which is perfect. And I love the way it turned out. I had so much fun playing with this. I am trying to scrap lift, but really what ends up happening is I take the idea of doing a big middle layer with a little bit on the bottom. I don't make anything happen at the top. I try, but it just doesn't come together. And it's fun though. I got to use a lot of little pieces that I had been saving for this layout. So I was happy about that. And I actually change up my idea, which you'll see in a minute. And so I have a couple extra photos to use to scrapbook like another one, maybe for like my album, like my book of me, where I could talk maybe a little bit more about how special and my feelings to how that I felt, I guess, would be a good way to do it. So I might save it and do one more layout down the road, because that photo of me there, that was taken literally as it was happening. And that doesn't actually make it onto the layout today, just the one of the moon itself. So I went off screen and did some stitching and decided it needed one more layer. So I'm going to take this Dear Lizzie Stargazer, how appropriate is that, and use that to do just a half border. And I do it a little wonky. I do kind of off center it, so it's got a fun angle to it. I didn't do enough of an angle because you can't completely tell that it's at a funny angle unless you're really looking at it, but that's okay. I still love the way that it turned out. And I'm just going to trim that all up so it equals back to a 12 by 12. I'm then going to go ahead and do some more stitching around the border so it's there and able to just kind of mimic the fact that I had done stitching on the, what do you call that? Celestial piece of pattern paper. You know, that one with all the constellations in it. And I am really happy with the way that it's looking. I apologize about little Miss Nora there. She's little chatterbox today. So I went off camera waiting for my phone to charge up and created this fun little shaker moon with some Spiegel Mom scraps, Sparkle Power sequence mix, and the cut file is also an exclusive from the shop that you can download and use on your cut file, on your silhouette, or however you use your cut files. And here you can see I am switching up my photos. So I kept the big one, obviously. I loved that one and the filter I used. And then I had these two little ones that I was going to use in a traveler's notebook spread. But I really thought that they highlighted what I actually saw or what happened. So there's one of me that just the tiniest bit of me with my glasses and stuff sticking out with and you can see the moon. And then the sun. I guess that's the sun, not the moon. The moon went in front of the sun, right? And then the rest of it was that's the one above it hidden into the moon right there. That's the one that I found on Instagram that showed the shadows really well. And I've tried to find something that looked a lot like my area. Like this was taken in the Lower Mainland, so it was close to me. And it all sidewalks look the same, but it looked like I could have taken it and within my neighborhood. So I went ahead and decided to go with that. I'm now going to try to go back and at this point I'm looking at the scrap lift, trying to tie in things like the arrow that was in the original layout and little pieces like that. And I'm just trying to find things that I think are going to work. I'm really happy right now with the way it's looking. It is missing something and I haven't quite figured out what it is that's missing. But I go ahead and do things like I added that fun little black and white striped frame on the photo of me and the camera behind it, that little girl washroom lady there. I loved that because it was something that I did with Nora. So it was just me kind of experiencing it on my own. Sean was at work, Jackson was at school. So it was really just me. Nora was still pretty little. She was napping the whole time. And then in one of the new sequence mixes from Spiegel Mom Scraps, and I'll leave it linked below if you want to get your hands on it, there are little silver moons in the sequence mix, and it is the coolest thing ever. And so I added that right next to that little wood veneer. I loved that. So you can see my camera was silly and cut out. So I did my title and I just titled it Solar Eclipse because that's what it was. I didn't need a big fancy title for that. But I backed my layers there with tissue paper, and that was what I felt was missing. Once I laid that down, it was exactly what I wanted. It was perfect. I was really, really happy with it. I'm going to add the year in gold to kind of tie in the little hints of gold that are everywhere else. Along with that bottom, you can see I added the moon phases, and I'll put a little bit of journaling in that one little area there. So there's a look at the sketch or the layout that I scrap lifted and my final take. Thanks so much for watching. Please be sure to check out Rachel's if you haven't already, and I'll be back next week with another layout. Bye!